the Knicks. I think he'll take enough shots to try to equal that number later today on ABC.
And here at Madison Square Garden, a basketball happening on a Sunday afternoon. The most famous basketball player in history, Michael Jordan, comes to the Garden in front of all the celebrities and youngsters one last time, many of whom are hoping that Michael indeed rocks the Garden again.
If you're going to be a good basketball player, you got to showcase your talents in New York.
Today, Michael Jordan comes to the Big Apple for what is likely his final game in the world's most famous arena.
I love Madison Square Garden.
We don't need no hateration, holleration in this dancery. Let's get it percolating while you're waiting, soldier.
It's Sunday Hoops on ABC, but it's not all about Michael Jordan. No, the Washington Wizards and the New York Knicks are still harboring dreams of making the playoffs. Neither holds a top 8 spot right now in the Eastern Conference, but as you can see, the Wizards are nipping at the heels of Orlando and Milwaukee, and don't pronounce the Knicks dead quite yet. They're only 4.5 out. Welcome, everybody. Along with Sean Elliott, I'm Brett Musburger. Nice to be along with you today. You know, Sean, never in the history of any game, baseball, football, basketball, has any athlete come from out of town and broken New Yorkers' hearts as many times as MJ did with the Chicago Bulls. He's unbelievable in this building.
It's not even close, Brent. And these fans here, they have a love-hate relationship with Michael Jordan. They're excited to see him go, but at the same time, he's brought them tons of thrills in this building.
18, 30 plus, and Sean,
Wow.
how old are you?
I'm 35.
Let's say you were completely healthy. 5 years from now at age 40, could you do what he's doing?
Brent, if I tried to run up and down the court as much as he does and jump the way he does, I might rupture something.
He has been on a tear lately for the Wizards.
I mean, this is after 40, Brent. He's taking younger players off the dribble, young guys with fresh legs. He's taking them in the block. He's still able to run the floor, and he's showing you that he's still clever and crafty, showing you reasons why he's the best of all time.
There will be a very warm reception for MJ when he's introduced, and then they'll be pulling for the Knicks. We'll have that scene after this message and a word from our ABC station. Spike Lee and his youngsters in attendance here today for his buddy Michael Jordan's last appearance in Madison Square Garden. Many youngsters wearing Chicago Bull attire. We take a look here at our Bud Light starting lineups for this match between Michael and the Wizards against the New York Knickerbockers on this Sunday afternoon. Stackhouse, along with Haywood, Christian Laettner, Spree. Court, Houston and Isley will be there for the Knickerbockers. Right now we check in with the third member of our broadcast team. Here's David Aldridge. David.
Guys, the Wizards and Michael Jordan, obviously this is their last game, but they do have to play the New York Knicks today. The Knicks are still in the playoff race, as you mentioned before, Brent. Don Chaney thinks that this team is very capable of making a run as long as Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston play well. He thinks that those two guys are the key to this team's playoff hopes. They play well. Kurt Thomas has been pretty consistent all year. They have an opportunity to make a late run.
You can see what kind of a night Sprewell had against Orlando as the Knicks came away with a big win. And in that game, Coach Don Chaney had to play a very small lineup. He moved Shandon Anderson to the 4 spot, which in the NBA is that power forward, and they got away with it in the low block. And here, Michael Jordan getting ready to go. Allen Houston will try to keep the Knicks in it with his shooting along with Sprewell. As Houston and Sprewell go, so go the New York Knickerbockers. Now, Sprewell, according to Coach Chaney, when we talked to him before the game, Sprewell will take Michael, but pick and rolls and switches, Allen Houston will draw him. So
So they expect both Sprewell and Houston to be playing number 23 a lot here tonight. One of the unsung members of the New York Knicks, and those of you who follow this team know it's a very undersized basketball team. Kurt Thomas will jump it off at 6'9". And Haywood, a 7-footer for the Wizards, controls the jump. And they come down with their first offensive set of the game. Sprewell tracks Jordan underneath the hoop as we keep an eye. And here comes Michael touching the ball for the first time. Sprewell right there with him. MJ pumped back out to Leitner, and they come around to Hughes now.
I'd expect Michael to get up and down the floor before he tries to do things offensively. Remember, Brent, he's still suffering from a stiff back.
Hughes, as the buzzer expires, and that's a shot clock violation on the air ball. And so Don Baden, Tom Washington, and Leroy Richardson are our third officials as we start this game, and it'll be the New York Knicks' first offensive set of the game. Silas, good ball handler. Now he'll go try to help on a rebound. Houston's first shot is up over Jerry Stackhouse for the opening field goal of the afternoon.
Now you have to make Allen Houston put the ball on the floor. If you allow him to raise up and shoot jumpers all over you, you're going to have a long afternoon.
Stackhouse was fouled by Houston as he got around the corner, and we check in with David again.
Guys, you may remember the last time Michael Jordan played his last game in Madison Square Garden was 1998. And he wore those retro Jordan shoes from his rookie season, 1984. I asked him the other day if he would do that again today in honor of the Knicks, and he said no, because when he wore those shoes the last time, he got terrible blisters on his feet. Lasted a couple of weeks. Can't afford that right now with them trying to make the playoffs.
All right, David, and a foul finally on this putback attempt by Haywood. I think what we saw in that sequence, as David was reporting on the story of Michael Jordan, we saw the problem that the Knicks have with this small team. Now, I want to go back and talk about somebody because I was talking to Sean about him before the game. Now, watch just underneath, and the Knicks have a terrible time. But you said if McDyess had stayed healthy, this would have been an entirely different New York Knicks team.
McDyess was coming to surprise the East, Brent. A lot of people here didn't realize how good a player Antonio McDyess was and still is. And they were surprised by him in the preseason. But believe me, Antonio McDyess, when he comes back and he's healthy next year, he's going to be easily one of the top big men in the East.
The last time down, it was Houston on a clear out. Pump fake, he got fouled and one. And Houston, when he gets into that shooting rhythm, he's capable of having a 50-point afternoon, and he looks like he's right there as he was fouled also on the shot.
Well, he put up 53 against the Lakers earlier this year, and this is what makes Allen Houston so dangerous. He has a smooth jumper, and it's picture perfect. And there you see Stackhouse gets caught off guard, but he has to respect that jumper.
What a wonderful play by Harrington that time. It's napping and was able to put it back.
Oh, that'll make a coach pull his hair out if you give up an offensive rebound on a free throw.
Leitner misses from the perimeter into Sprewell's hands, and Latrell brings it down now for the Knicks. Knicks lead it 6-2. Houston with 2 field goals already now has 3. 6 points for Allen Houston in the early going, and it's 8-2 Knicks over Jordan and the Wizards.
Stackhouse is going to have to deny Allen Houston the basketball. I mean, just merely letting him catch it and then start playing D is not going to be enough.
Leitner crashing down the middle, draws the foul. One of the things that we notice Sprewell is doing, he's overplaying Michael a little bit, Sean, and forcing him to move around a lot here in the early going. Don Chaney was weighing the different kind of options that he had. Right. Did he look for double team? Did he slough off? How would he play him? He wants Sprewell to force Michael as much as possible to the left hand. He said you cannot let Michael have both sides of the floor, and we would prefer that we overplay him to the right. Now watch how Sprewell attacks it.
Yeah, well, when Don Chaney said that, I said basically that might limit him by 2 points a game because Michael can go left or right. But at the same time, you got to deny him the basketball, Brent. That's the best way to guard him. Don't let him catch it at all.
And that was a very good example of Chaney's philosophy of having Houston switch quickly out on top. You saw Allen as Sprewell was being screened off as they run an awful lot of screens from Michael to try and free him up. And this time Stackhouse fouls Houston. And that's his second foul here in the early going with 9:48 to go. It is not going Doug Collins' way here in the early going in New York.
Especially when you lose your leading scorer 3 minutes into the ball game. because has the toughest assignment on the floor. Allen Houston, when he starts off early, knocking down jumpers, you're at his mercy. Now it opens up his dribble penetration.
So Brian Russell is up to replace. Houston makes the free throw, and Russell checks in. Stackhouse sits with the 2 fouls. And Allen Houston now with 7 of the Knicks' 9 points. Making 8 of their 10 points.
Not a good start for the Wizards. You talk about Allen Houston. He's been playing terrific basketball of late, along with Latrell Sprewell, who's come on as well.
That's why Stackhouse was so unhappy about the call on the 3-ball attempt by Houston, who makes all 3 of his free throws, and now it is 11-4. And we look for Michael to attempt.
Well, one thing you got to do, if you have big-time scores, you got to go back at film as well.
Michael missing. Isley sets the table, picked up by Hughes, as Thomas very active. And again, they're going to post up on Russell this time. It's to Allen again, who whips it to Sprewell. And a bad miss by Harrington.
You like the dribble penetration by Latrell. A little out of Othello Harrington's range, at least to start the game.
Wide open 3-ball from the corner by.
I love that ball movement, Brent. Swinging the ball around the horn, finding the guy who's open because of the double team on the other side.
Well, we've got our first timeout of this game as the New York Knicks take an early lead over the Wizards, 11-6. And a reminder, on NBA.com, you can find all the latest scores and box scores, and you can also check in on Michael Jordan's greatest moments. And speaking of that, let's go to 1984. Ronald Reagan wins re-election as president, and Michael Jordan made his first appearance at the Garden. He scored 33 points for Chicago, and he capped this special night off with a move that that one right there that fans will continue to talk about. That was back in 1984 as we check in on Michael Jordan's greatest moments here in Madison Square Garden. And right now, this is not one of Jordan's greatest memories, as his team is only 1 of 6 from the field, and the Knicks are 4 of 5. Russell up with a steal. Jordan was trying to become the head man, and he was cut off defensively, and Leitner turns it over. Isley's 2. Yanked back by Thomas. Offensive rebound for the New York Knicks. Haywood jumps out on the screen and now retreats, working defensively with Hughes. Isley gets Thomas. Sprewell's 3 in and out, and he got the long rebound, and he'll come right back with another one. 0 for 2 from 3-ball range, and the Wizards put it down.
Well, we had Latrell Sprewell last week against Orlando Magic, and he started off a little slow, but scored all 16 points in the 2 overtimes for the Knicks.
Haywood attempting the wraparound, tap back, no, stays with it though, and finally gets it to fall.
That's what you're talking about, Brent, when you talk about the Knicks not having enough size. Haywood at 7 feet tall, able to exploit the interior.
Here's Thomas's little jump shot, in and out. Jordan pulls down the rebound. This time Houston picks him up. And a bad pass by Leitner that time.
Well, see, that's really Michael's fault. If you make a fake toward the baseline, you got to commit all the way. And here's that last play down low. Haywood with that size. No Knicks underneath, over 6'10".
Houston has Russell on his hip, gets back on the other side, draws another foul. Allen Houston could put up some big numbers the way he started in this game, Sean.
Brent, easily one of the best shooters in this league. You can't give him an inch of daylight, and you see now what's happening with the Wizards defenders. They're just crowding him. But Allen knows how to create separation. He gives you a little up and under and draws the foul. He just knows how to score.
and he has put 10 on the scoreboard here in the early going. Michael Jordan has gone scoreless so far, while Houston now has 11. All eyes on Jordan, and meanwhile number 20 for the Knicks has put up 11 early points here. We've got a timeout. So the Wizards will huddle up in
Madison Square Garden. Nobody means more to the Knicks than Patrick Ewing. But unfortunately for Patrick, nobody has broken his heart personally more times than Michael Jordan. You remember the double nickel game. You remember strip, block, block in the playoffs against the Bulls in '93. There's been so many times when Patrick Ewing thought he had a championship. Should be championship banners being hung up there and not his jersey. But number 23 had a lot to do with that not happening.
Exactly, David. And Patrick now an assistant coach with the Washington Wizards. And he was out working with the players, and we were joking about the many memories and the painful ones at that David told us about versus Michael and the Bulls when they would come into Madison Square Garden. But right now, the Knicks lead at 13-8 in Wizards basketball. Michael up firing and still not to be, still scoreless.
Hey, Brent, it wasn't just Patrick, though, that was denied. You talk about Karl Malone and John Stockton, how fantastic those guys, their careers have been, and they never won a championship because of number 23.
Samas on the move. Yanked away by Russell.
You could throw in Charles Barkley in that mix. There's a handful of Hall of Famers that never won a championship because of Michael Jordan.
Put back by Haywood again underneath, and there's one of Patrick Ewing's star pupils right there.
Again, that 7-footer using his size. And Haywood, not only is he 7 feet tall, he has long arms, Brent, and he has some athletic ability.
6 points for Haywood in the early going. Wizards trail the Knickerbockers by 3, and the Wizards can cut even further into it now after that turnover. Hughes drives strong to the rack, and there's Haywood again. Missing, but the Knicks unable to keep Haywood away from the glass so far, Sean.
Yeah, and I'd like to see him gather himself instead of trying to throw that little hook shot from behind the backboard. Gather yourself powered up.
Nice three. So Isley makes it a 16-10 game.
And Isley's another guy playing that point spot. The Knicks for years have been trying to figure out the point spot after Mark Jackson left here, but Isley doing a great job the second half of the year.
Wide open, and Michael knocks it down.
Starts off slowly, nice little jumper. He still looks like he's walking around or kind of sauntering. That back looks a little tender.
Michael defending Sprewell. Sprewell wants the baseline. The double team is there with Leitner, and Christian steals the ball, and here's Jordan, the head man. He's got a size mismatch. If he can back Isley down. Harrington to help out, looking for the open man, and it'll be Russell's 3-ball. Hasn't been able to hit it like he did out at Utah, has he, Sean?
I know, but you see Michael there still active on the defensive end.
Hughes misfiring, and this time Harrington with authority as Leitner stays back and commits a foul.
I see Michael using screens here, working without the basketball, a little deceptive. Both players going to Brian Russell. Michael able to pop out and knock down that 18-footer. You see his numbers early on. I'm not looking for him to take a lot of balls to the bucket this afternoon, Brent. I'm looking for him to stay on the perimeter, play good defense, shoot a lot of jumpers.
Kwame Brown checks in. Sprewell misfiring into Hughes' hands. Hughes looking for daylight, gets all the way to the rack.
Well, that's just poor transition defense. The most important player on the floor is the player with the basketball. In transition, you got to step up. Somebody's got to step up and stop Larry Hughes.
High screen by Thomas on a pick and roll. Harrington pops out, and the left-hander goes firing.
See, I like Othello Harrington in the block. In the paint area, he's deadly with that little lefty hook that he has. Not necessarily from the perimeter, though.
Pump fake by Jordan, and he's fouled on the shot. He'll shoot a pair.
That's Michael just getting that superstar call. A little pillow bump. Here's Larry Hughes coming right down the lane. No one steps up to stop him. Where's everybody going? They're going to players that they think he's going to dump the ball off to. But unless you stop the basketball, the other players are irrelevant.
Let me go back to the superstar call, the pillow bump, as Sean Elliott called it. Are you telling me that that was not a foul?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. This is the NBA.
Do the
though, Brett.
superstars of the NBA get an edge?
Yes, they do. I don't care what anyone says.
Aren't we all shocked by that revelation, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah. I'm sure Michael
Eyes
never
like
got
that to
any. He never got any special privileges on the court.
In low to Witherspoon. Good defense by the Wizards. So Kwame Brown, Hughes, Michael Jordan, Russell, and Haywood on the floor for the Wizards. Michael's posting on Sprewell, bumps him down, pump fake fade. Tap back no by Russell, and out of bounds. Knick basketball. Well, a reminder, the second game of our doubleheader, 76ers and the Lakers are coming up next on ABC. And Sean, what's your take on Kobe Bryant and what he's been doing lately?
He had an exceptional February, but what's more important for that team, I believe, is the way Shaq played last game. 40 points, 14 rebounds. He's really the constant on that team, and if he's able to put in performances like he did 2 days ago, look out.
Attack by Thomas, and Oakley, who's on the floor for the Wizards, tracked it down. The former favorite here in the Garden.
And you're talking about Kobe Bryant, Brent. He's probably the closest that I've seen to Michael. And I'm saying the closest. And when I mean close, he's still a mile away. If you can ever play the kind of defense that Michael did in the half court, then you're talking about a true comparison.
There's Michael Jordan, and doesn't that shot bring back memories of MJ and his great performances in the Garden when he came up firing and nailed that shot. He now has put 5 points on the scoreboard as the Wizards take the lead on a Michael Jordan shot. 17-16, 2:18 to go. Jordan, why not? He's had so many memories here at the Garden.
If you're going to be a good basketball player, you got to showcase your talents in New York. And the people appreciate it. You know, every time I've stepped in that building, even though I'm going against their Knicks, and even though I may have had some great games where we knocked them off in the playoffs, they have always paid respect for the games that I played in New York. And to me, that's gratifying. That makes you want to showcase your talents.
Unbelievable numbers, averaging better than 31 points an outing here in the Garden. And right now at the age of 40, he has sparked this 7-0 Washington run over the last 3.5 minutes. And the Wizards lead the Knicks 17-16. He's 2 of 5 from the field. Pulled down a pair of rebounds, as you could see on that graphic.
And Britt, he can do it. And he doesn't necessarily have to do it by scoring. He just does it by his presence. He's out there on the floor. He's creating double teams. He's making passes that lead to assists.
Russell is doing a pretty good job of shagging Allen Houston. But Houston got him to the baseline and went right over the top of him that time. Remember, Houston sent Stackhouse to the bench with 2 early fouls here, Sean, and Russell, until that moment, had been sticking with number 20 pretty well.
Well, the thing is, you have to respect his jumper. You got to play up on him. He was able to put the ball on the floor and create that separation, a little stop and pop. There's not a lot you can do.
That is a 2 by Hughes over the line. So we're in Madison Square Garden with Michael Jordan. And perhaps his last game ever here in the Garden. We always say perhaps because the Knicks are not totally out of the playoff picture, even though it seems unlikely. They are 4.5 games away from the last couple of spots in the 8-team Eastern Conference playoffs. Right now, the team playing the best in the East, Philadelphia. You'll see them next against the Lakers.
Latrell Sprewell had a wide open 3, should have put the ball up.
Instead, it's Thomas underneath Witherspoon, battling for that rebound. Ball out of bounds. Brown can't believe the call.
I was surprised at that. After that little penetration by Allen Houston, Sprewell had that wide open 3, and he's not one who's usually gun shy. Missed his first couple looks. He still continues to shoot the ball.
Houston again. Cannot stop Allen Houston here today. 15 points. He has 15 of the Knicks' 20.
And again, he put up a 53-point game at the Staples Center this year. Very capable scorer.
Jordan's turn. Could this be a shootout brewing here between these two? That's 7 now for MJ.
Don Chaney's doing the right thing here. Just milk Allen Houston.
Late double leaves Isley open, and he nails a three ball. Allen Houston, with great recognition on the double team, got it back to the point man.
Well, what else are you going to do? The guy puts up 15 on you in the first quarter. You better start sending help. Allen Houston recognizes that, finds Howard Isley wide open on the perimeter.
Hughes penetrates again, and this time Thomas was there. Oakley knocking the ball out of bounds. It'll go to the Knicks.
Look at Oak, Brent. I mean, how long has he been in the league? The guy is still in the backcourt playing passing lanes. One of the ultimate competitors. And he's easily been the punisher in this league.
Sprewell, this time he shoots a three. He was under duress after passing up the wide open one.
I guess the shot had to be difficult.
At the buzzer, Hughes rims it out, and we bring down the curtain on the first quarter. We came in talking about Michael Jordan, but it was Allen Houston who did most of the damage. With 15 points, he was 5 of 6 from the field. MJ quiet early, starting to come off late.
Well, Allen Houston just had his jumper going early on. He's got perfect rotation on his jumper, picture perfect form. He's the son of a coach. He should be a good ball player.
But then, after falling back by 7, MJ sparked the Wizards' comeback. The Knicks lead it by 5 at the end of the first quarter. He played all 12 minutes of the opening quarter. He was 3 of 6 from the field. He had 1 assist and no turnovers.
Well, this guy is working without the ball. And the last 2 clips I really want you to watch. This one, that's a good one there. He comes off a couple screens, but watch his elevation, Britt. He's 40 years old. He's still getting off the ground. He's elevating as high as guys that are 25, 26 years old in this game. He's still showing you that he has some of that athletic ability left.
I think his lowest point output ever at the Garden, and I'd have to double check this, but I think it was 16 back in the mid 80s when he first came into the league with the Chicago Bulls. As we start the second quarter, Thomas bumping down on Big Oakley, has to give it up. Charlie Ward, who's off the injured list, fires the three, so he's off the Knick bench with a 3-ball.
Yeah, still my favorite college football player of all time, Charlie Ward. Showing you can hit that 3-ball from the corner.
You like that shotgun look that he had for Bobby Bowden in Tallahassee and the Seminoles.
I never missed watching him play. Love to watch him. He's so excited.
Kwame Brown turned it over after a good-looking move. Numbers, Knicks, and Ward on the move again, and there is the ex-Heisman Trophy winner bringing it to the rack for the Knicks.
A little stand-up.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I like the reruns better.
A lot of people do. Oakley's open, and Witherspoon was there, and he fouled him.
What about Big Oak? I was talking about him earlier. This guy, to me, when you talk about guys that weren't 7 feet tall but were intimidating, he is the king. You never see Oakley back down to anyone.
Remember Maurice Lucas?
Yes.
Same kind. Nobody back down to Big Luke either. He was Jack Ramsey's down there, and he coached the Walton gang to that NBA title. And Patrick Ewing, the one thing that eluded him was the ring at the end, that hollow feeling that he must have after putting up a Hall of Fame career.
But he still had an exceptional career.
Because of MJ, I might add.
Oh, you heard all those players we were talking about earlier that.
Oh, Thomas came across an offensive foul. No question about that. Thomas made like a lead fullback at Ohio State on the ISO play that time and sent Russell about 10 yards downfield. I mean, he unloaded on it.
He and Oakley are jarring at each other. Oak's upset. Looks like he's going to get a double.
Take a look at that
foul
as
here.
he comes across, and it was Oakley he hurt. I saw the second man go down, but on that replay, they took out 2 men. Man, you talk about football players. Forget Charlie Ward. The Jets could use that young fella in their backfield. Wow, what block.
Trying to knock down Oak is like trying to knock down a 18-wheeler.
Poor Russell gets hit by both of them, right? Stackhouse back on the floor with the 2 fouls, misses the turnaround. And bad pass right into Russell's hands. Stack coming back to the rack. And he will shoot free throws.
New York foul is on Clarence Weatherspoon. That's a second.
We had that little skirmish a while back. Kurt Thomas coming across the lane here just powers into Charles Oakley, who creates the domino effect and knocks down Brian Russell. You can see, even when you get a good lick on Charles Oakley, you're not going to knock him down.
Doliak has checked in for the Knickerbockers. Michael Doliak at 6'11", out of Utah. He's the size of a 4 or 5 in the NBA down low, but actually his game somewhat better suited to the outside, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah,
pretty good outside shooter.
Exactly. He's not really a back to the basket big man. He's a guy who can go outside and punish you from 15 to 18 feet. Good guy to put in a pick and roll, Brent. When you have a big 7-footer, you can run off a screen, he can pop and hit the jumper for you.
I think we've got a T on the defense here as Sprewell moves up to shoot the technical. 10 minutes to go in the second quarter. Knicks 31, Wizards 24. And now make it 32-24. Let's set our lineups here. We've had a lot of substituting. Sprewell back on the floor along with Ward, Doliak, Witherspoon, and Anderson handling the ball right now.
Talking to Don Chaney earlier this week, he said Shannon Anderson was one of the toughest guys on his team.
At the buzzer, there's Shannon, just what you're talking about.
And not really known for his three-point shooting. Can go to the corner and hit the corner threes, but not really the threes from the top or from the angle.
Wizards turn it over.
Here he is, just threw his man aside, actually his defender, and knocks down the open 3 ball, and that's a good sign for the Knicks.
Sprewell, as the Knicks now are building a comfortable first half lead, 37-24, so they stretch it now to 13.
Yeah, right now with the Knicks, they're running their offense. They're getting the ball in all the spots that they like.
And Stackhouse has to carry the scoring load as Kwame Brown makes his most positive play of the afternoon so far.
Yeah, Kwame Brown started off this year with such a hot streak. He really looked like he was going to have a major impact this year, but he's still a young player. He's going to have his ups and downs, but in the long run, he's going to be a fantastic basketball player.
There's your man Shannon Anderson again.
You just look at his muscles. The guy's a handful in the block and in the open floor as well.
Hughes, Brown, Oakley, Russell, and Stackhouse on the floor for the Wizards, and they're struggling finding scores.
You see right here, Kwame Brown working down low, finds position on the offensive glass and goes up with authority to finish it.
And the man has taken the cape off, and he is going to be checking back into the game. Number 23, Michael Jordan, reappears for the Wizards.
Yeah, you know, if you're nursing a stiff back, the last thing you want to do is have him sit down on the bench for extended periods of time.
They'll put him outside at the point, rest Hughes, and let Jordan run the attack and see if he can lead the Wizards back into this. Pass back to Kwame Brown.
It's nice give and go that time. Kwame Brown playing excellent basketball to start this game. Gives the ball up to Charles Oakley. Doesn't stand, Brent. Continues to move without the basketball. Makes a great cut to the basket. Charles Oakley there with the dish.
Kwame switches on Ward. They get it back to Doliak. Sprewell around the Doliak screen will take it with a running right-handed hook.
You see how Latrell Sprewell came off that screen. He saw Kwame Brown. He knows he has a nice, young, tall player there, and he abuses him.
Stackhouse. Doliak to double. Ward's got the ball as a result. Sprewell coming again. Misses the three, but Witherspoon, good rebounder for his size. And Anderson with the 15-footer has put 3 field goals up in a hurry off Coach Chaney's bench.
The Knicks are doing it all right now. They're on the offensive glass. They're playing defense. They're sharing the basketball.
Jordan keeping the dribble. Stuck right with Anderson, just looked over at him and said, man, you're 40 years old. And he's talking to him, come down. You're not supposed to be doing that at age 40. Now, will you cut that out, Michael?
How does he get his shot off? I mean, Anderson was all over him. Anderson is not a weak defender. He's a hard-nosed, tough defender. Can move his feet. Michael's still able to get his shot off.
Here comes Jordan again after Kwame controlled the defensive glass. And now Anderson fouled him, and Anderson is barking at Michael, and I'm not so sure he's all over him right now. It's like a trash-talking linebacker, and he's just carrying on a complete conversation with him.
Well, the last person you want to talk to is MJ. You see the difficulty in getting that shot up, and after he nails it, you can see Shandon Anderson look at him like, come on.
Michael says, come on, Shandon, let's do it. Come on, Shandon, no way. All day, Shandon, I can do. Oh, this is getting good.
Michael's mouth is moving.
He was flapping on the way back, wasn't he?
Hey, Brent, I could never figure out why anybody would ever challenge Michael. Why incite him?
Oh, that's wonderful. And Anderson just fired him up.
Yes, he did. I mean, lots of times, if you're his teammate and you're jarring at Michael Jordan, tell your teammate to put a lid on it. Here's Michael moving without the basketball, comes off the screen, elevates right away. Nothing that Shandon Anderson can do about it, but just take the punishment.
Not today and not yesterday, Shandon. Time out.
C, brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
You know, first there's the Doug Collins huddle. Then there's the Michael Jordan huddle with the Wizards. Now, question is always kind of my mind, Michael, why not coach in the NBA?
I think it's better for me to, from afar, try to put all the pieces together and give as much verbalization as I can to these kids so they understand, but not on a day-to-day basis, because I'm pretty sure my personality can wear on someone, and it puts too much pressure on an individual. And I know that. It's good that I know that I won't step into coaching and know that, you know, that's just trouble waiting to happen.
Sean, do you agree with that?
I agree wholeheartedly with that. And the coaches in this league, they don't have lives, Brent. All they do is study tape. They take all the pressure. I mean, they're never at home. These guys are maniacs.
I may be the last man standing who thinks he'd be a heck of a coach. As Andrews, I'd have, you know, coaches, assistant coaches run to practice. He could do it like Al McGuire. You show up for the games and run the game. Forget that tape. Jordan knows what's going on out there.
Well, you know, you hear people talk about great players not being fantastic coaches because it's hard for them to understand that the players on the floor can't do the same types of things that they were able to do out there on the floor.
Look who's coaching on the floor right now. Michael got right in Kwame's face. Right in his face he went.
Well, that's his job.
He's just, he's a natural as a coach. He's such a you're going to listen. If Michael Jordan tells you something, you're going to listen. That's why college coaches in my mind have so much trouble in the NBA. As Michael said, now that, here we go.
Brent, I'm telling you, the last 4 times he's touched the ball has been nothing but the bottom.
It's 13 for him now. His team's still down 11-0. The Knicks are doing a good job here. Doliak, and guess who knocked it away? Michael goes to save it, gets it into Russell's hands, and now Jordan's doing it both ends of the floor, and back he comes again. Oh, so long, Doliak. And one. Oh, baby.
Wow. Yeah, he put Doliak on roller skates that time. He came off, used a nice screen, was able to lose Latrell Sprewell. Here it is. They gave him the ball on the open floor. It came off that screen by Charles Oakley. And you're talking about a colossal mismatch when you have a 7-footer, any 7-footer that's ever played in this league, trying to guard Michael Jordan in the open floor. And you pull big men out of the paint, and they're like fish out of water.
Now, you know, there's Coach Chaney. Some of you youngsters never watched Coach Chaney play. I want to tell you right now, he was one of the best defensive guards ever in the NBA. Chaney against Jordan would have been interesting. Chaney was not nearly as strong offensively, but that would have been fun to see on their best day. I'm always thinking about what some of those old fellas would have done who could play some defense like Chaney.
Hey, Chaney would have enjoyed that challenge. He's a daredevil.
Yes, he is.
We didn't know that before. You know it now. Guy skydiving, driving race cars.
Yeah, Don Chaney, you know, grew up on horseback. He probably, of all the coaches around the country in college, he could probably ride a horse better than any of them.
Here's Michael playing defense too. Gets beat on the penetration, but able to recover, blocks that shot from behind, and still has the effort to try to save that ball. I mean, one thing about Michael, besides his athletic ability, he had outstanding timing. He's a master at catching shots from behind.
Let's bring in David Aldridge on this subject. David?
Guys, during the last timeout, they spent the entire timeout talking about the best way to defend Michael Jordan. I mean, they did not talk about anything else other than the big men coming and where they're supposed to help and when they're supposed to help and when they're supposed to jump them. Don Chaney knows that 23's on a little bit of a roll right now and wants to try and get it stopped.
Yeah, David, he's got him down within 10, and Shandon Anderson, he's doing his part. He scored 11 points off the Knicks bench. Oakley to the floor, gives it up in time. And Juan Dixon, the rookie from Maryland, missing the 3-ball, and boy, Shandon Anderson has been a force here, Sean.
He's playing with a lot of energy, a little too much on that possession.
Well, the one thing about Michael, the reason why you want to play him quietly is he's the fiercest competitor I have ever been around. And if you try to bait him, he just turns it on. I mean, he just loves a challenge.
He's one of the guys who, if you start talking trash to him, expect to get 10 more points than usual.
Sprewell's been quiet, and Michael rims that one around now.
Well, Sprewell has the job of guarding Michael, so that takes a lot of energy out of you. You got to follow him off screens. You can never relax when you're out there on the floor, even when you're on the offensive end, because you know the guy can get a steal, he's going to get a breakaway. I mean, you're always tense when you're guarding Michael.
You know, and despite all this, the Knickerbockers are playing a good basketball game here.
Yes, they are.
Anderson's got him, and Jordan draws the foul. Look at Michael, the look on his face. That got you that time again, Shandon.
Yeah, right now he's teaching lessons, Brent. Just showing you that jumper because he's knocked down his last 4 or 5. You have to respect it, and he gets you off your feet, throws his body into you. He knows how to draw fouls.
Allen Houston up.
And then he's laughing about it. I mean, he knows that he has anybody who's going to defend him in his hip pocket.
And that's it. That's it. School's out. He'll take a little break. Jordan Howe with 18 points. He's a stone-cold killer. Michael Jordan, the fiercest competitor I have ever been around. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, sometimes his competitive nature is a little too much for his own good.
Houston up firing again after that break, and we can't overlook what Allen Houston has done. He now has scored 17.
Well, you called it. You called it an old-fashioned shootout.
Fade from the right corner. No question that Sprewell has done the best job today defensively on Michael. Of all the players who've tried him, Sprewell gets the highest marks.
Well, you can see Sprewell read the scouting report. He's waiting on Michael and that turnaround jumper.
Thomas.
Hey, Kurt Thomas has had a good year, Brent.
Nice player.
For a guy who's undersized at center, he's taken it at a lot of the top flight centers, a lot of bigger centers in this league, and he's come out winning a lot of those battles.
Forced to play out of position. Let's watch Sprewell here.
Well, he knows that Michael likes to turn toward that baseline for his jumper, and he's waiting on it. And Sprewell has the athletic ability and the length to get to that shot if he times it right. Good defense by Latrell Sprewell.
It's showtime in Madison Square Garden. I remember one night when he came in here wearing number 45. I think that was after his first retirement. And what did he put up after trying to hit the curveball? About 55 on the Knicks that night. So with David Aldridge and Sean Elliott, I'm Brent Musburger. Nice to have you along with us. The New York Knicks played a good team game here. Allen Houston with his 17 points, and the Knicks lead at 51-39. Michael Jordan has put on a little bit of a show for us here in the second quarter, and he's still out on the floor. And Sprewell will defend him.
Well, how can you lose him on a screen?
He did.
That's just miscommunication on the defensive end. When two guys come together, the guy that you want to make sure that you cover is Michael. If you want to send two people to anybody, it's Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan has 20 of the Wizards' 41 points.
Yeah, and after the way he started, I would have bet that the over-under would be 20 points. Now I'm guessing it'd be 35-40. Here he comes, sets a screen on Allen Houston, and both Houston and Sprewell go to the other player. You have to make sure that you communicate down low, especially when Michael's setting screens. You cannot let him pop and get a wide open look.
What he's probably thinking is, can I get any help from my friends? Started out slowly.
He doesn't need it right now.
He's red on right.
To Sixers and Lakers by visiting with Shaquille O'Neal rounding into shape as we head closer to the postseason.
Like I said, playoff basketball is a different type basketball. I will be ready. My mentality will be different, and I'll be focused, and I'll be on a mission.
A visit with Shaq and Spike Lee will join me and Greg Anthony for Verizon Wireless Halftime Report coming up. Back to Brent and Shaw.
Spike Lee is at courtside, and what were the officials talking about there, Sean?
That's a good question. They're probably in awe of Michael's performance as well.
They know if Michael didn't like something, best watch out. Sprewell gets loose on Stackhouse. Nice inbounds play. Diagram by Coach Chaney during that timeout, and the lead is now 12.
You're talking about Don Chaney. We were talking about him being a daredevil. He's done an outstanding job this year coaching this team.
Leitner gives it back to Michael, and Sprewell fouled him.
See, Michael caught that ball. Looked like he was going to go in for a layup and had a little shifty move there right before he put the ball down. It's impossible to guard, even at age 40.
Remember how red hot Houston was at the start of the game, and Michael has gone right by him. Now 21 of the Wizards' 42 points.
And Michael's just like a fine Bordeaux. I mean, the guy's still good, 40 years of age. I'd like to see some of these young guys, if they're still able to get it done when they're 35 to 40.
We're left wondering, why retire now? This is just remarkable watching someone at the age of 40 play at this level. But the one thing the Wizards are going to have to do as a team, they're going to have to solve Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell. Back outside to Ward. And here's Thomas. You cannot leave him open even though he misses that shot.
That's his
baseline.
That's
his
within his range. Yes,
it is.
You still have to love the way the Knicks are moving the basketball, though, Brent.
Dixon on a nice run in, turning the corner at the right baseline.
How can you not like Juan Dixon?
Played very well, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he's undersized at his position, but you really can't measure a guy's heart. I mean, he's come out here, he's played great basketball for him, even though he's a rookie.
Ward nails another three ball.
There's my man. You said his arm was pretty
Maybe
good.
not as strong as Doug Flutie's, because you compared him in size to Flutie, and Flutie had a remarkably strong arm. Michael on the move, blocking foul. He'll shoot free throws.
You see how he comes up and splits two defenders, still gets his shot off.
Well, tonight on NBA TV, San Antonio at Boston 6 and then Thursday on TNT, Boston, New Jersey, Sacramento, Phoenix, and next Sunday here on ABC, That showdown out west. Dallas against Sacramento. Boy, the West is heating up. Do not look past your old team, Sean. I think San Antonio.
I'm not
Tony
looking
Parker.
past him. I think a lot of people are looking past him. Tony Parker, like you say, he's been amazing second half of the year. And with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, who's really played excellent basketball. Steven Jackson's played great all year. I mean, they're poised to make a big-time run.
Well, the Knicks with 56 points and still a minute to go here in the first half. Kwame Brown cleans up. Dixon, Jordan, Stackhouse, Leitner. Inside of a minute. Michael gets inside of Sprewell and knocks it down. And Michael Jordan now with 26 points here in the first half.
Yes, sir, Brent. He's got it going. As soon as he shot that ball, you could tell his body language started skipping down the floor.
He's 9 of 14 from the floor. Sprewell can't answer. Leitner. And at 32 seconds, Wizards can cut into that lead even further.
Now you start running the old give and go play. Give me the ball and go away.
Dixon draws a double. They look for Michael. He'll not get free this time, so Dixon will take it inside the right baseline and one. So Juan Dixon with 2 field goals here down the stretch in the first half. And John, it's interesting what you pointed out about Juan being undersized. He's worked very, very hard on his game.
And this move here was special. I mean, he elevated. He sees Charlie Ward coming over, and he creates that contact and still has the focus and concentration to knock that jumper down and go to the line for 3. And that's an amazing play by Dixon.
Make this a 4-point game. Cannot, but he'll get it back and he'll fire it back. Does even better than that. Let's make it a 3-point game.
Let's go for 4.
So it's 56-53. The Knicks last shot time. Houston doubled. And a bad miss from the corner. Houston at the buzzer got it off. And
That's the end of the first half. The score, Knicks 56.
so Michael Jordan carries the Wizards here in the second quarter. 9 of 14 from the field for number 23, and we check in with David Aldridge.
Alan, you guys got off to a great start in the first quarter. Looked like they couldn't do anything with you in the first quarter.
Well, I was just trying to attack. They started double teaming, and I just got in a good rhythm. Got to the free throw line a couple of times, but you know, Michael got going, and that kind of hurt us.
You have got to be very concerned, as well as you guys played, to only be up 3, and Jordan's really going.
Well, we just have to try to limit his touches and limit his open looks, and then make somebody else beat us. We got to realize that Stack's going to probably try to get going, but we just have to get up in and pressure them a lot more.
All right, Alan, thank you very much. Back to you, Brent.
All right, David. So Michael Jordan starts off with only 7 points in the opening quarter, and then puts up 19 in the second quarter. Coming up, the Verizon Wireless halftime report. Mike Tirico will be coming your way. We'll hear some more from Shaquille O'Neal. Michael Jordan, his final trip to Madison Square Garden. Could he make it his third 50-point happening? Well, he already has 26. He's better than halfway there. And he's keeping the Wizards in contention. Mike Tirico coming up next on ABC. In the first half of Michael Jordan's last game, he has 26 already shot.
Well, you see him early on. He has his blood flowing. He's getting all over Kwame Brown. But the more that Kwame Brown absorbs and accepts of this from Michael Jordan, the better player he's going to be in the long run. But then Shannon Anderson kind of mouthed off to Michael, and that's when Michael got it going. 7 points in the first quarter, 19 in the second quarter, and you see him jarring back. And then what are you going to do about it? Coming off screens, knocking down jumpers. Now he's going a little in and out on the big fella for 3. When he gets it going, Brent, like he's doing now, he just makes mannequins out of people.
Here is the shot chart for Michael Jordan, who was 9 of 14 from the field. Several of those misses coming early in the game, because as we told you, he scored only 7 of his 26 in that opening quarter. So he has moved all over the court. Sean, it is just, it's remarkable listening to the fans, the buzz around Madison Square Garden. And you know, they say, you know, we love this guy and he's great, but we're going to be so glad when he's gone.
They can't wait for him to get out of this building today. They're tired of all the jumpers.
Yeah, they say, you know, today we can honor him. It's okay. But they say we don't want to be reminded of those playoff games when Chicago came in here and Michael would lit them up. It's
well, if they had forgotten, this first half reminded them plenty.
And we should not overlook what Allen Houston and the Knicks were able to do as we check in now with David Aldridge. David?
Guys, in the first, you know, coming out of the halftime, the Knicks expect to see more double teaming, obviously, of Michael Jordan, make somebody else beat them. And for the Wizards, I asked one of them who's going to guard Allen Houston in the second half. They said, we're going to decide that in the huddle, see who wants to guard it, who wants that assignment, which is not really the best news from Jerry Stackhouse, I don't think. Back to you.
All right. The Knicks' biggest lead, David, was in the second quarter. They were up 15 at 43-28 in the last 3 minutes. The Wizards and Michael outscored the Knicks 12-5. We should not overlook the contribution of Juan Dixon, who hit 3 out of 4 off Coach Doug Collins' bench. So I'm sure we will see him later on here in the second half. And Stackhouse has just been assessed, I believe, with another foul. Yes, Houston's coming to the free throw line. This is how we started the game.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating. Allen Houston turns, gets Stackhouse in the air, and he's a master at that. You got to keep your feet, but at the same time, you got to try to contest that shot, so it's a delicate balance. Here he is working. You have to respect that little ball fake that he gives you. You got to try to get up and contest the shot, but Allen Houston's so clever around the basket.
Michael played 20 minutes in the first half. He played more minutes than anybody on the Wizards. And Allen Houston played 18, and now he has 19 points for the Knickerbockers, and it is a 5-point Knick lead.
So they're trying to establish Jerry Stackhouse early on here since he didn't play a whole lot that first half.
And it is Leitner who scores first for the Wizards.
Is the recipient of a nice screen pass, or swing pass rather, because the defense is concentrating on Michael and Jerry.
And Houston got on the inside of Stackhouse, who is now burdened with the 3 personal fouls, and got down the baseline.
Now, how are you going to stop Allen Houston when he has that jumper going, Brent?
Well, they just defied Michael to turn the other way through the double team. Michael gives it up.
You have to double team him and get the ball out of his hands.
Hughes misfiring. Harrington cleans it up. Sprewell's open. Leitner going up, and Harrington is there, and they're going to call a foul on Christian. And you can catch up more live NBA action tonight on NBA TV at 6 p.m. The Celtics host the Spurs. That's tonight at 6 on NBA TV. I check that out regularly on DirecTV, and I think it's 7:20, and it's an excellent NBA broadcast. Gets you up to date on everything, and you can switch around the country and see some of the other games. And
can't miss that one. Service. One of the better teams in the entire league, the Spurs. All that talent coming together.
Haywood going to work his foul. So they put double O shadowing him this quarter. Hughes pulls the trigger on the perimeter, Jay.
And Larry Hughes again. I mean, you have another guy who's capable of scoring 20 points for you, 20-plus points. He should be easily the 3rd option on this team.
The Wizards attempt to put together field goals. Michael wants it lower on Houston. There's the double team by Thomas right away. Far corner, and Hughes badly misfires this time.
Now Michael's upset about that last play. He wants better spacing on the perimeter. When he gets double teamed, there should be at least one man wide open. If you move the ball, you should have several options to choose from.
Hughes fouled Sprewell, and Latrell comes to the line for a pair.
Well, you can wonder if Michael gets tired, but he's still doing a great job here trying to post up. Latrell Sprewell doing a great job as well, shadowing Michael not allowing him to catch the ball where he wants, but you can see his energy level is down just a little bit.
I would think that Doug Collins would be considering when to bring Juan Dixon back into this game. Dixon 3 of 4 from the floor, and he and Michael were working very well together late in the second quarter.
Yeah, he's definitely a big spark in that first half. Get some of those fresh young legs out there.
Sprewell staying right behind Michael, who's posted up on the left side. Haywood screen, and the ball is over on the right. So Russell will come through. Now Michael will fight his way to the top, and there's the double team on top. Thomas doing an outstanding job of doubling on Michael this quarter. And Hughes forced to fire the 3. But do not forget the defensive job that Thomas is turning in as the double man on Michael.
Don Chaney made the right call. Double him, get the ball out of his hands. And when you talk about Kurt Thomas doubling, he's not overreacting. He's not creating any gaps for Michael to shoot through. And you see him knock down that shot.
BC brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
The 1995 Michael Jordan memory at Madison Square Garden. The Dow Jones was up 34%. And he showed up wearing number 45. MJ makes a classic return to New York. He scores the double nickel, 55. But it was his team play at the end of the game on that great pass underneath. And the Bulls come away with another big win over the Knicks in the Garden. Jordan with 28 here today. Allen Houston leading the Knicks with 24. And the Knicks are up by 10 right now.
That play over Patrick Ewing where he started out toward the wing and reversed and came back and dunked it along the baseline is one of the greatest plays in NBA history.
Unless you're Patrick Ewing. Watch the flashbulbs go off on a Michael Jordan moment. Unlike Tiger Woods, he just went on about his business.
That's right.
Russell on the line. It's a 2. 1 foot on the line. And Michael trying to lead the Wizards back into this. They're down by 7. Minute and a half to go in the third. Houston all alone as Russell falls away.
Russell tried to sell that a little bit, sell that foul. He's definitely a guy who could keep his balance. Looked like he got hit by a train.
26 now for Houston. Great pass by Kwame, and Haywood unable to finish. He wanted the foul and didn't get it.
Excellent ball movement, but even better recovery by the Knicks.
Harrington faces up over the top. Wizards seem to be showing a little more spunk after that last timeout.
See Michael starting to step through those double teams, step through the last one, then steps through this one, this time trying to deliver the pass.
Isley picks up his second personal of the game.
You see that Allen Houston play. I mean, you look at Russell. He just looked like somebody barreled into him.
Quiet. 29 points, so he scored only 3 in the third. And this presentation of the NBA on ABC continues after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Yeah, he gets all of a minute, 14 seconds of rest.
So here he comes for the stretch.
And plus the timeout helps.
He was doing that with Phil Jackson, I believe. I remember in Chicago. And then he would come back in and do this. And that's out. 31.
And that's the result of not double teaming him. Again, when you kept him under control, it's because you had a big man come out, double teaming Michael, making him give the ball up.
And now the Wizards with another opportunity as 23 brings it to the attack. Up firing, got it. Here it comes, baby.
How can you allow him to dribble up? I mean, he was just sauntering up the court with the ball, Brent, and he takes his time and knocks down an easy, uncontested jumper. Last time down before, you didn't double team him. He burned you. Here he is, one-on-one against Anderson. Nice elevation. Anderson, a nice young player with athletic ability, unable to get to that shot. And this time, no one picks up Michael on the open floor. Going to give him that one. He's going to take it all afternoon long.
Just the sight of Shandon Anderson apparently has fired up MJ, who has now put 33 up at the age of 40. Unbelievable. With 33 points, he has now passed his scoring average at Madison Square Garden. He came in averaging 31.5. He's now at 33. Folks, you have to go back to the 8th of March, 1998, when he came in here with the Chicago Bulls. And that was on March 8th. He scored 42. He's well on his way here, Sean, to a 40-point game with 10 minutes left.
Yeah, exactly. 10 minutes to play, and he's feeling it. He's a point a minute a guy if I've ever seen one.
What's important for the Knicks now is not to let this lead get away from them. Sprewell inside and goaltending.
Now Michael just caught overplaying Latrell's right hand. Sprewell feels that pressure, and that shot was good anyways.
So now the free throw. And it's the three-point play the old-fashioned way for Latrell. It's 85-78. 19 for Sprewell in this game.
I was about to say, he's quietly having a nice game.
Especially defensively at times here against Michael. He's been by far the best defender on him. Juan Dixon inside. And a strong rebound for Kwame Brown, who's going to come back. And it won't stay down. So the Wizards' future just couldn't put it down. First Dixon and then Kwame.
Oh, I love that effort, though, by Kwame Brown. He brought that rebound down like he was a man.
Harrington in and out. Witherspoon. And Charlie Ward resets it here at the 9-minute mark. Great pass to Anderson on the run. The wraparound won't stay down, and the foul goes against the Wizards on the Harrington rebound. Might be against Kwame.
Anderson doing a great job moving without the basketball. Once you feel that overplay, you see that overplay by MJ, he gets burned. Anderson along the baseline. Great pass, and you see Othello Harrington staying alive on the glass. We got Anderson shooting free throws. Was the call a foul on his shot, or I thought it was the foul on the rebound? Late whistle.
Anderson perfect at that free throw line too, Sean. And so he makes both of them, and that gives him 13 for the game. 87-78. Knicks lead it just inside of 9 minutes. Dixon penetrates, catches an open Stackhouse who missed the shot.
Yeah, Stack wasn't ready for that pass. Still trying to find his rhythm.
Ward dribbling, has to give it up. Wide open. And Camden Anderson knocks down the three ball.
It's a much easier shot when you see that ball swinging around the horn and you know it's going to come to you in the corner. Shandon Anderson was ready to shoot that ball.
Dixon's three. No, Oakley tries to keep it and play, and pushing off by the Oak man against Witherspoon.
That's a good call. Witherspoon had position, kept Oakley off the glass. He knows better than to let Charles just come in there untouched.
Well, the lead is 12. Here's Harrington, jump pass inside low, and Spoon back to that corner again. This time Anderson couldn't make it. Dixon runs it down.
You see the Knicks working on the glass, though. When you have Weatherspoon, Othello, Harrington down there, those guys are relentless on the offensive board.
Michael wants to go in. Finger roll, not this time.
And that wasn't really Michael's greatest shot at the finger roll. You have to go back to guys like the Iceman. He was the king of the finger roll. Michael's the king of dunking on people, getting in the lane, shooting those short jumpers.
Stackhouse. Dixon behind Oakley. Down to the 7-minute mark. 90-78, and Oakley will try it from the right baseline to make it a 10-point game. 90-80 at 6:53.
Oak is just a consummate professional. Give him a wide open look, he's going to knock it down.
Interesting team, the Knickerbockers. Not a lot of great stars after you get past Sprewell and Houston, but they play well for Cheney as a unit. Watching them here today, decent team chemistry.
I would say pretty good team chemistry. They're moving the ball around the horn pretty well.
Speaking of chemistry, Sean, next Sunday, let me ask you about this one on ABC. Sacramento hosts Dallas, a showdown between the top two teams in the Western Conference. Now, Dallas has to get over that middle block against Sacramento, right?
Yes, they do. They have to win one of these games against Sacramento going into the playoffs. You can't go into the playoffs 0-4 against them.
Into Oakley's hands. Especially defense in the NBA. It's so much chemistry and teamwork, talking to each other. And the Wizards turn it over here at the 6:10 mark.
You're exactly right about that. Defensively, Brent, communication is a huge key. I mean, as far as high school and college, coaches will tell you, you must communicate on the defensive end. You got to call out picks, screens. You got to help your other guys out.
Harrington rolled inside and drew the foul. So the return from his injury by Charlie Ward gives the Knicks a very good backup point guard right now. Timeout. Knicks, coached by Don Cheney, lead at 90-80, and David Aldridge, Cheney, a bit of a daredevil, eh?
Real thrill seeker, Brent. You know, last Thursday in Orlando, they had an off day. Don Cheney, a guy who's already jumped out of planes as a skydiver, ridden in rodeos, decided he wanted to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR vehicle. So they went down to Disney World to the Richard Petty experience. He took about 8 laps in a NASCAR car, got up to about 125 miles an hour, and said he really enjoyed doing it. And we had a lot of fun doing it, took some laps. His next trick, he wants to climb a big mountain. Said he wants to do something that takes him 5 or 6 days to do.
There is his career as a player, and just a fabulous defensive player. And yeah, after he said he wanted to climb a mountain, Sean Elliott said he was going to send him a copy of Into Thin Air. And he said, Coach, you might want to read that book before you go out
exactly.
and see the mountain.
You see Don Cheney on K2?
My answer is make sure you got a lot of Sherpas.
You know what was funny about that clip, though? You see him trying to get out of his car. I mean, that's how I get out of my car every day, pretty much. You just unfold.
It's true. Stackhouse into the corner now, and here comes Dixon's three, rims out. And it goes the other way. Things are looking good here for the New York Knickerbockers, and ex-Knick Patrick Ewing is, came back here and was hopeful that Michael and his student, Kwame Brown, would do better here today.
Oh, yeah. I was here last week for Patrick's night, Patrick Ewing night, when they retired his jersey. That was something unbelievable, Brent. And all the great former Knicks were here. Lots of New York, also former Knick teammates were here. You had some New York City legends.
There's some, speaking of legends, Bill Bradley on their great championship team. Some homemade signs for Patrick Ewing here. 93-80. The Knicks lead it by 13, coming down to the 5-minute mark. Michael jump pass and Leitner's wide open. And the Wizards are missing open shots. Anderson driving on Michael, missed the shot. Witherspoon has it knocked free. Comes back, Leitner fouls him. Witherspoon shoots a pair.
You have to love the determination of Anderson and Witherspoon.
And Wizards looking to keep it going here offensively. Dixon staying on the floor for crunch time. In low, in the paint. Jordan left hand, yes, put it down. There's 35.
You see how clever that move was. He sells Latrell Sprewell on the turnaround jumper and a nice little step through with his left hand.
Steal by Jordan. He's got it on the floor, needs help. Wraps it around. Hughes will track it down, and here they come on the Jordan steal. Timeout has been called.
You know, Michael, back in the day, when he and Scottie Pippen used to run that little trap, I mean, you do everything that you could do to get the ball out of your hands and up the court.
It's like he took a blow to his jaw as he goes off.
Now watch this. He sells that little turnaround jumper just enough to get Sprewell off balance. And then there's the lefty layup. And there's Michael again lurking on the defensive end with that those long arms, that anticipation. And he did take a hit right in the jaw.
Yes, he did. He hit the hardwood hard. He's over there. Took a blow to the jaw at the 2:30 mark, and we'll take a timeout. To go. Watch Michael Jordan go to the floor. Now watch the blow he takes right on the point of the chin. Now look, not hurt as long as the game's in play. He's got to find somebody. And just watch the chin as it hits the floor. Forget the basketball for a minute. I mean, flush and hard, up in pain, 10-2 during that timeout. Ready to inbound the ball now. Let's check in with David.
Brent, when Steve Stricker, the Wizards trainer, tried to put any pressure on that chin jaw, Michael Jordan was wincing noticeably. They put a compress on it to try to ease it a little bit, but as you can see, he's back out there.
Anderson reaching in on Stackhouse, David. And the foul goes against the Knickerbockers here.
Latrell Sprewell on the perimeter. And this is just hard-nosed deep. Probably got away with a little hold on that drive, but you don't see Latrell complaining about it. He's ready to play.
Wizards looking for that easy hoop to ignite this rally. Michael on Sprewell, rises the top, not this time. Stackhouse goes for the loose ball, and it goes over to the Knicks at the 1:30 mark now, and the Knicks with a 7-point lead and a minute and a half.
Just two unfortunate breaks by Michael. Two good-looking shots, just can't get him to fall.
Putting the ball in Allen Houston's hands. Jump to the corner and was not a good pass. And a timeout over here by Washington. They have 2 full timeouts left. They've got 1:14 to go, down by 7 points. We'll take a break with the Wizards need a quick hoop. Oakley will try to get it inside to Stackhouse. Stackhouse on the free throw line. That stops the clock.
A nice play set up in the timeout. You don't want to take a whole lot of time without him. They have a huge hole to climb out of. Antonio McDyess again out for the year at the beginning of the season. Can't say enough about the coaching job.
Dixon comes back after missing the 2 free throws and drains the 3 to make it a 4 at the 18.8 mark. Now, how about that for Juan Dixon? He's still angry with himself for missing those 2 free throws.
A nice looking shot, but when that ball goes through, you have to be aware of where everybody is on the floor. You can't just allow the Knicks to inbound the ball to Allen Houston. You got to keep the ball out of his hands, especially when you know you're going to foul. Because now you're sending a guy to the free throw line who's a 92% shooter. And I jinxed him.
Russell replaces Oakley here for the gives him a little bit of that 3-ball firepower. Wizards are down 4, although Russell has not been able to hit it again as consistently as I thought he did out in Utah. Houston now with 28 points as he misses 2 free throws. So, wow. So Michael and the Wizards give themselves a chance if they can rush. Pump fake knocked away from Michael. Shandon Anderson goes for the ball, and timeout is called. A 20-second timeout is called with 9.6 seconds left. In the high fives for Shandon Anderson, who did his best job of hounding Michael Jordan at that time. I mean, Anderson was all over him.
He was waiting on him. You can see that.
Some of us old timers who remember back in the 80s when he came into the NBA. Spike Lee, you could see his son was wearing a Wizard jersey today. Now, Spike would never do that. He had to stay in the Knicks jersey. Now here's Michael. Michael up firing, fouled. He'll shoot a pair of free throws. He stops the clock, 7.5. This is not over yet.
And you see Sprewell's upset, but you have to know that Michael's going to create something here. He sets a screen, gets himself open. That little raise up jumper. You know if you're guarding Michael, he gets calls. There's no way around it, Brent. You got to be careful with him.
And Michael's not missing. Now Michael turned around and did a little coaching. I think he wants Dixon to stick right with Houston right now. That's 36 points for Michael Jordan now. He can make this a 2-point game, which he does.
Look at Dixon. He's not going to let Allen Houston catch the ball.
37 for Michael, a 2-point game, and timeout called by the Knickerbockers.
Yeah, send somebody else to the free throw line and see what kind of nerves they have.
The one thing about Michael Jordan that none of us will ever forget, he is a man who simply will never yield. The determination that he has brought to his sport and even to the game of baseball. When he didn't make it, it was that determination. And when you look back, he did pretty well for a guy who wasn't a baseball player, now that I think about it down there. But without equal as an NBA superstar, the things he has done through the years, and here on his last go-around at the age of 40 in New York. Sean, 37 points. I don't know if we'll ever see another athlete who dominates his sport the way Michael Jordan has his.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time. You can name one. Tiger Woods right now.
Tiger Woods, that's true.
Is in that league. But other than that, I mean, it's been amazing what he's done. I tell people all the time, the difference between Michael and the modern day young superstars is that Michael was the undisputed king of the league. He was #1, he was #2, and he was #3. And the people below him, Michael had the ability to embarrass those guys at will. He was clearly the king of the court.
Some pretty good stars coming up next, too, with Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Allen Iverson. That'd be your next game. Now, let's see. 7.5 to go here. And the Wizards down by 2 points. And the Knicks will set the inbound play off the stack. The Wizards closing out here on a 13-1 run. Isley waits for Houston. Now he'll go back deep and might no. Russell's got a hand on it. And Anderson attacking. The Wizards had a shot. Russell knocked the ball free for a moment at the 5.4 second mark.
I didn't know it was rugby out there. I mean, that was a scrum to start that possession.
That was not the inbound pass that Coach Shaney was looking for here.
I mean, there were bodies all over the place. People were holding and grabbing, and Russell had a beat on it, unable to come down with it.
Anderson misses the free throw.
People
that gives them a life. 5.4. It'll give them a life.
People want to see overtime here. The fans were excited when he missed that free throw.
They never want to see the Michael Jordan show close down. Now Leitner will check in.
And you know, when Anderson missed that free throw, Michael started salivating. He wants the ball one more time.
Especially after his rival Anderson missed that front end free throw.
And if he misses this one, they're really in trouble.
Got it, it's a 3 now. Wizards need the 3 ball. Leitner with a long pass to Michael.
Michael's fouled right away by Sprewell. Sprewell's going to put him on the free throw line with 4.2. Not bad strategy in this situation. The lead is 3, and Jordan's going to be shooting a pair with 4.2. And now what do? Do you try to make both of them, or do you try to roll the second one out?
No, you make both of them right here,
and then foul.
And then you put them back on the free throw line, or you go for a steal first. If you can't get the steal, you put them back on the free throw line, and you try to run that exact same play. I look at what Latrell did, and that was probably the smart thing to do.
Absolutely. 37 points for Michael Jordan. He's 11 of 13 at the free throw line. To make it a one-point game, Michael Jordan. He's amazing. That's 38.
I tell you what, Brent, I never imagined that he would come into this setting today and put on the type of performance. He's got an ailing back. Hasn't played a lot of minutes his last couple games. But MSG just brings out something special in Michael.
43 minutes, 39 points, and a one-point game at 4.2. 4.2 now. Pressure. Anderson. The open man is Witherspoon, and that'll do it. The Michael Jordan era in Madison Square Garden comes to an end, but not without a battle. Michael Jordan, 43 minutes and 39 points, and takes it all the way down to the wire. And another good one is coming up. The 76ers and the Lakers. Again, the final score. The Knicks win a big one, 97-96 over Michael and the Wizards. Stay tuned now. We'll get you right out to the Staples Center for the Sixers and the Lakers right after this.